Hey guys, my name is Brandon and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you like what you see in here, you're more than welcome to hit the subscribe button so you stay notified every time I upload a new video. Okay, let's get straight on with today's video. Hey everyone and welcome back to Is That More Brandon. So in today's video, I'm actually going to be doing a review to episode 6 of Squid Game The Challenge on Netflix. So, at the beginning of the episode was actually called Goodbye, so I don't think that's a good thing because it means we're obviously going to be losing people from the game. And we found out that at the end of episode 5, the 63 contestants who had remained in the game were going to be playing a game of marbles. Now, only 62 of them were going to play because, remember, player 222 was on his own, so he kind of automatically got through to the next game, or I presume so. I haven't seen him as of yet. Well, as I was watching episode 6, yeah, I haven't seen him as of yet, but I do know from the end of the episode he is still in the game. So yeah, I think he just kind of was just sitting in the dormitory waiting. And basically, remember the people that they were having their picnics with, that was the person they were going to be playing marbles with. They could pick any game, they could pick any skill-based game, but it had to just include marbles, and obviously there could only be one winner. So I think some of the pairings that we kind of had a little observation of was players 301 and 302, mum and son combo, players 204 and 209, both Gambo gang, 229, 278, obviously the two mums, player 31 and player 339, again I think they were also Gambo gang, 393 and 382. So 393 is the deaf lady, so she, I can't remember what her name is, and 382 was actually a player called Tim. And then players 399 and 65, who haven't really seen much of them, but I think 65 was part of an alliance, but I don't know which one. Player 399 basically said in her game that she didn't want to do a throwing game because she's not very good at throwing, and she thought that it would be better to do like a strategic kind of game. And player 65 said, no, you've got to be reasonable, we're doing a throwing game. So that's kind of, they were both a little bit blunt at the beginning. Players 179 and 221 were playing. Obviously 179 is, I can't remember what her name is, but she has been quite a character throughout the game. And then players 018 and 361. So 018 is obviously B, so she's the gaming girl. Don't remember who 361 was. I don't think she was actually a relevant character at this point. Again, so players 382 and 393 did their little game, and player 382, so his name is Tim, older guy, he said he couldn't afford to retire. So basically I think he's obviously in this game to win the money. And player 393 said she was here for representation, she wants to make her community proud because obviously she is deaf, or she's obviously a bit hard of hearing. And player 382 basically replied and said, are you trying to play the sympathy card? Because he said that he is also actually deaf, and questioned why she didn't try and teach him any sign language, kind of just didn't talk to him or whatever. And he basically just said, I don't feel bad for you because you're actually going to be going home in a moment. So that was a very sly thing for him to say. I guess they're both deaf, they're both in the same minority community, you shouldn't really be, you know, treating your people like that. But I think, yeah, I think obviously she is deaf and she is able to use sign language, and representation is important, but he is also deaf, so he is also representing. So he basically kind of thought she was just using a sympathy card to get through, when actually they both have the same lack of hearing. And then player 301 and 302, obviously the mum and son combo. Trey, the son, said he wanted to win, and player 302, the mum, said that she actually found her in a drive, and he basically told her that he's going to beat her ass. Players 254 and 087 decided that they were only going to throw one marble, and whichever marble got closest to the wall, that was the player who was obviously going to win. Nice easy game there, very, very simple. And player 179 said that they wanted to focus on themselves and the marble, so didn't really care about anyone else or anything else, just kind of the most important thing was obviously focusing on the game. Player 65 said he only wanted to play a throwing game, and he actually wanted to give himself a chance to win. So I think the fact that player 399 said that she didn't want to do a throwing game, that's why player 65 said that he did want to do a throwing game, because he knows that that's not what she wanted to do. So yeah, basically she shouldn't have said that she didn't want to do a throwing game, or she should have made out she did, and then he would have said, actually let's do a game that's not throwing, and then she would have probably won. So yeah, they were basically just bickering the entire time. Player 97 and 287, so obviously 97 is Jada, 287 is May. They had a little cry, a little chat together. Jada, 97, said that she was obviously going to donate money back to like the kidney centre, because obviously she gave a kidney to her brother. And May 287 said that she was in the military from 19 years of age. Her family didn't really accept that, and basically said to Jada, just don't give up. Like, whatever you do, don't give up. And I think they hadn't played the game at this point, so she kind of needed a moment to just get a little bit de-stressed and, you know, get a bit of emotion out, just to relax a little bit. And then we saw players 337 and 451 both playing. Again, I don't know either of their names, or I didn't at this point. 337 lost, so 451, I just knew him as the guy with the long brown hair, really lovely hair. And 327 said to him, you've got this, bro, go on and win this for me. And then we saw some of the other games. So player 31 won their game, player 18B won her game, player 149 won their game, and player 77, another female, won her game. 302 said that the drive to compete was a little bit too strong, and, you know, she kind of didn't want to just give the game away to her son. And then, yeah, we saw 7 other matches finish. So 393 beat 382, 204, one of the guys from Gamba Gang, I think his name is Dan, beat 209, 221 beat 179, 182 beat 183, so 182 is TJ, 183 is Jesse, so he's part of a little alliance, obviously not anymore because he's been eliminated. He was actually really hot as well. 287 May got through, and obviously 97 Jada was eliminated. 386 got through, and 334 unfortunately got eliminated, don't really know who she was. And then 016 got through, and 344 got eliminated. So again, don't know who the 300s were, but, you know, they were in the game and they got quite far. 278 beat 229, again, these were the two mums. Player 229 said that she wasn't supposed to win, obviously 278 went through. 301 beat 302, so Trey obviously beat his mum. She said that she didn't want to go, and unfortunately she was eliminated from the game. And then 254 Mikey, Irish guy, beat 087, don't remember what his name was. And players 399 and 065 were still arguing, even up to the last minute, as to who got the marble in the pot first, because eventually 399 gave in and said, fine, let's do a throwing game. From where we're sitting, let's just see who gets the most marbles in the pot first. And basically it got to 0-0, and they both got a marble in the box. She got hers in first, he got his in second, and she basically said, well, we have to decide a winner, otherwise we're both going to get eliminated. And she said that she got it in first. He basically said, I'm not going to let you win. Kind of, you know, she even let him go first. She let him choose the game, and she also got the marble in first. And he said he's not going to give her the win, and actually they ended up both being eliminated purely because of the fact there was no winner chosen. So bit of self-sabotage there from player 65, and he kind of stopped her from going on to the next stage. But, you know, sometimes that's just what happens, and unfortunately, yeah, they both got eliminated there. And then player 301 basically said that he did have an advantage with his mum being in the game. Obviously now she's gone, she's basically, yeah, she's not there anymore. He's obviously only got himself. And TJ182 said to Trey 301, the moment is here and now. You have to just focus on now and obviously going forward. Player 222 said that he'd been in the dormitory the entire time, so he hasn't obviously been involved in the game. He had no idea what was going on or who was coming back, but he was able to obviously stay in the game, luckily. And then player 451, we found out that his name was Phil with 2 L's, and he said he wanted to keep his hopes up high and his head down low. So pray to, you know, get through to the next stage, but kind of have a low profile so that people don't put a target on your head. And player 182 TJ said that May, player 287, is kind, she's wise, and they basically see each other in themselves. So although they're very different from very different cultures, different upbringings, they kind of understand each other and they have a bit of an understanding for each other as well. Player 393 Jackie said that after that marbles game she feels even more distrustful than ever. But out of everyone she does trust Phil the most, so it seems like 393, 451 have a kind of two-person alliance there. And we found out that in that last competition, or that last game, 32 people were eliminated, 31 players were left, and there was $4,250,000 in the prize pot. So 4 million and literally 31 people left out of 456. Incredible. We then found out player 355, so her name was actually Hallie. She basically said this is now the real game, and the real game is actually working out what is in people's heads. So it's not actually the game itself, it's actually what people are thinking about the game in order to kind of get through to the next stages, maybe who they're working with, who their alliances are, who maybe their enemies are, and kind of just going from there, because obviously we've lost quite a lot of strong people in the game so far, so it's a little bit like, whoa, like we've lost so many characters, but then we have had a lot of more characters joining the game, or, you know, people are now starting to be discovered in the final 31. So yeah, there's a lot of front runners, there's a lot of favourites I've got, and there's a lot of people I'm rooting for. but I don't want to root for them too quickly just because they'll end up probably going out in the next game. So I'm going to be very neutral at this point, and just all 31 of them deserve to get there. Let's just see what happens in the next episode. 301 shouted, my mum's up there. Obviously when the prize fund was being collated, he obviously reminded them all that his mum was obviously out of the game. Player 451 Phil said it was the hardest victory of the game so far, and player 16, who we found out his name was Sam, said this is probably the most stressful situation that he has been in so far. Player 204, so Dan, part of the Gambo gang, said to player 31, it's only the two of them left and they basically need to redistribute their team. And Dan basically said the most important thing for him is not just winning all the games, it's just getting through every single day, one day at a time, and then eventually winning that prize pot, because he's literally there to win the money, or so he wants to. And then player 286, Chad, said in his top 3 he thinks that May is going to win player 287 just because of the way she is. And she actually explained to the camera she was born in Vietnam, she almost lost her life to a soldier who basically held a gun up to her head thinking she was a threat when actually she was just there as a refugee. Her mum basically brought her back down to the ground. And yeah, that experience has kind of made her a lot more strong, because I think she maybe would have fled the country or something like that. So yeah, that's made her the woman that she is today, and also the way that she acts now is because of all those experiences and things that she's had to go through. We found out from The Voice that there was going to be a test later on, and they all had to make a unanimous decision who they wanted as captain. I think at this point there were some people that were sleeping, there were some people that didn't really have an opinion, there was others that probably weren't really bothered, they kind of were just there doing their own thing. And most of the people, majority of the people, chose TJ, player 182, to be their captain. And he basically said, no fear, no glory. So if you're not going to ever be scared, you're not going to actually ever achieve anything that you want to achieve. Player 254, Mikey, so he basically said nobody else wanted to be captain, as probably they were scared that if they were to fail as captain, they'd obviously be eliminated. And 286, Chad, said he's not my captain or my leader, he could take me out at any moment. So just because he's got power, it doesn't necessarily mean he's gonna have your back. If anything, he is now gonna only have people's backs for who he thinks he can probably take out later on as well. So I think he's more likely to want to pick weak people, get all the strong ones out, and then it makes it easier for him to win later. So yeah, let's see what happens with that later. And The Voice basically explained in this game you had to choose your friends wisely. So player 19, she said someone's going to basically backstab someone else, and you're going to probably have to either eliminate your friends or something like that's going to happen. And she also spoke to B, so player 19, player 18, and basically said to her who put him in charge. It's almost like men doing men things. We found out player 19's name is Amanda, so she's the blonde lady, and she basically explained that when people see her, they sometimes just think she's a bimbo or a dumb blonde or something like that. And she actually used to be a weapons engineer. She did explain a little story that they only thought she was going to last there for about a week. She rocked up with a pink suitcase, a glittery dress, and she ended up becoming in charge of that company or that job or whatever. So, you know, she may just look a certain way, but she acts and has the mentality of a completely different way as well. And she just said she gets stuck into every situation. So that's the best way to be. Player 77 joined the conversation and said that the girls need to stick together. There's only 9 girls left. And again, player 393, Jackie, also joined, plus along with the rest of the girls. And they basically decided that 9 of them, there's 9 girls, 22 boys, they have to just stick together. Player 287, May, called Chad for a quick chat and basically said that she doesn't trust TJ. She said that his clique is still in here, and that he's basically an entertainer. So, you know, he's going to act and say and do all the right things to get people on his side, and then when he needs to, he'll just take them out one by one, or they'll just end up taking themselves out. And player 286 said that captains usually get eliminated, so the fact that he's put himself forward, he may actually end up taking himself out of the game. So that's kind of what they were hoping for. Player 204 said that he knows players 286 and 7 don't actually like TJ, so he's going to use that to his advantage. Maybe take that information on board and kind of start sharing it with other people. That, oh, you know, there's some people that aren't really a fan of 182. Maybe we should align with him and then get them out. So he could potentially be a floater on both sides. And player 286 said to him that they need to get a couple of extra votes if they're going to potentially get rid of player 182, and Dan 204 said, yeah, I'm definitely in. Then he basically said to the camera he has a good bullshitting-ometer, so he listens to people more than he talks, so let them do the talking, let them reveal things that they shouldn't reveal, let them overshare, and then kind of use that information from people to make decisions. So yeah, less talking, more just sit there, listen, observe, and then you kind of work out what people's plans are by just listening to them. And then if they ask you, you go, oh yeah, I'm still working on it, or I'm still thinking about it, and then you're not sharing information. Player 77, again, we found that her name was Marina. She said that the boys underestimate the girls, and player 355 said that she has every girl's back in here, and she would bat for any of the women that are left, with player 18B saying that one of the girls has to win. So again, I don't know how much the girls actually have each other's back, because again, 77 said that, yeah, the boys underestimate the girls. Player 355 saying that she has every girl's back. She doesn't really know any of the other girls, and obviously she's in there, I'm presuming, on her own, by herself, wants to probably win by herself. So if anything, she may just use the girls to get a little bit further in the game, and then again, when she doesn't need them, she will just again dispose of them one by one. And again, player 393, Jackie, said that all the girls need to stick together, but then at the same time, she's wondering whether she actually does trust the women. She doesn't really know, just because maybe she's been in situations like this before, or in real life, or whatever. So you kind of got a few women who are kind of saying that they got everyone's backs, and you've got a few of them that are kind of swaying away, and a few of them that are just completely staying quiet. So they're not all aligned, so it'll be quite interesting to see what happens. And the voice basically said that obviously out of those 31 of them, only 20 of them were going to be going through to the next game, and that was purely based on almost like being at school in PE, picking your captain, and your captain picking your teammates. So player 182, as the captain, was able to stand on the podium. He was straight through in the top 20. He picked someone, that someone picked someone else, and basically after 19 picks, everyone else that's not picked is obviously eliminated. So that's why they said pick your friends wisely, or something like that earlier, because yeah, you're literally picking one person. You can't, if you like 5 people, you can only save one of them and then rely on someone else to pick them later on. So yeah, player 182 picked player 287 May. Player 287, obviously she kind of broke the chain of picking women. She went for player 286 Chad, and obviously player 19 was like, well, you literally broke the chain. Player 286 Chad picked player 254. 254 picked player 77, and then this is when we had 3 girls come through. So 77 chose 18, 18 chose 19, 19 chose 393, and 393 was just about to walk over to player 19, and she said, look, I want to pick Phil 254, 451, and I can just tell him to pick a girl, just to kind of make sure that we get girls coming through. And player 19 was like, all right, cool, well, you know, it's completely your decision, but we do need as many girls as we can to get through. And I think the one thing is, if player 393 wasn't to pick Phil, who else was going to pick him later on? Because she can't tell someone else to pick her friend, because then that's an advantage to her and a disadvantage to someone else and whatever. So I think if you do have kind of an alliance like that, you're going against the girls, but you get him to then pick a girl, or you kind of hope that he is going to pick a girl. But then the few of the girls that were left weren't really characters in the game. They've just kind of been there and floated and whatever. So yeah, a lot of the main characters have gone so far. But yeah, at the end of the episode 6, we didn't actually find out who Jackie 393 picked, but I think we find that out in episode 7. So if you did enjoy my review, don't forget to like, comment, and chat, and subscribe. Until my next review, and until my next episode, yeah, we'll find out who the top 20 people are in Squid Game, and I'll review every single one of the 20 in terms of like how much do I know about them, how much have they been in the competition, and you know, have they been on my radar since the beginning? Most of them probably not, because most of the people I liked have actually already gone. There's still a handful that I like, don't get me wrong, but yeah, a lot of unexpected ones that left the game that, like, I still know their numbers, I still know their faces, and I still probably know some of their names as well. But yeah, I'm going to end this video here. If you did enjoy, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And until my next review, thank you for watching, and goodbye.